Every time. Okay. Here we go. Straighten up.
You got it. Okay.
Welcome to Agents of the Brokerage Podcast. I am your host, Todd Back, and today our guest is Heather Bargo. Heather, how are you doing?
Hey, Todd. Doing good.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
You ready to do this?
A little nervous.
You're good.
Who's not nervous?
You're
right?
good. You're good. You'll be good right after this.
Okay.
So, 60-second intro into who you are.
So I am a Lexington. I call myself a native. A lot of people hear the countryness in my accent. My parents were in Laurel County, which is like London and Corbin. And that's where I was until 4 years old when they moved to Lexington. And other than moving around a couple of times after high school, been in Lexington my whole life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what did you do before real estate? Give us the scoop.
Okay. So I was on the track to get into a nursing program. So after high school into college, which I went to EKU, BCTC, for undergrad, and I was pursuing just a regular allied health degree. So I kind of have an associate's in that, and then got accepted into the nursing program at Morehead St and did a semester there and really had a tough reality of this is not what I think I can do the rest of my life.
Gotcha.
So that was really difficult. While I was in nursing school and previous, I worked in pharmacy. I was a certified pharm tech for about 14 years or so.
Wow.
So yeah, it took me a little while to kind of get my bearings and get a plan together. And especially when I decided not to go back to nursing, I was married to my husband at the time, and he could see, like, I'm not going to be able to live with you if you keep going down this nursing track.
Gotcha.
And any of my nursing friends out there, they know what I'm talking about. It's a different kind of career, different mindset, and just a different experience. So, challenging in a lot of ways that I'm overly compassionate and I'm kind of a germaphobe. And so, those two things really didn't make for good bedside care.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
And then so was that the transition right in there?
Yeah.
How long have you had your real estate license?
So I had, the very end of February of 18.
Gotcha.
I got my license.
Gotcha. So why real estate? Why did you make the transition here?
So, after working in kind of a corporate setting of any capacity, and knowing that either to go any farther and to excel at all, I was going to have certain credentials, which were going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time. And really hopeful that nursing would have done that. But, when it didn't, I really had to, it was a solid year of me just kind of being lost and not knowing, do I go back to school? What do I do? And so my husband actually encouraged me. He said, I just think you would do really well in real estate. So I thought about it and slept on it and talked to some agents, my agent who I used to purchase my home. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Shelly Patterson. Mm-hmm. She was very honest, to the point that I really didn't appreciate until I was in the thick of it myself. And so he encouraged me to get my license, and I did. Took the APAS Weichel course.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he encouraged that.
Yeah.
Because you're great at it.
Yeah, thank you.
So what's your favorite, so now that you've been in it a little bit, what's your favorite aspect of being in real estate?
My favorite thing is, so it was kind of a reality to me, some of the qualities that would have made me, a good nursing candidate kind of cross over into real estate. And one of those is the compassion. And so being able to take that and, nurture someone, and guide them and help them do something that's such a huge, we all look forward to the day we can purchase our first home, or we can buy that, we're growing out of this house, let's purchase something, a little bit bigger. And so all that to say, my favorite part is really just giving the opportunity to guide and nurture someone and be there for them to lean on and feel like I bring some sort of value to them through a process that can be really challenging at times. I think it's really, kind of made to seem like you just purchase a home and you get your keys. And I don't think a lot of people know what is in the middle of going under contract to the closing day, which is where you really get to be an asset to them, and just helping someone, just being able to help and be that shoulder to lean on and kind of their parent through the situation.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because it is. I mean, that's kind of what it is when you're working with people. It is a relationship, and you do have to kind of have a strong suit in those things,
yes,
or you're going to get frustrated.
Very much. Yeah, and we do get frustrated.
Yeah.
But we want to take those burdens off of, our buyers and sellers, and make it as stress-free as possible.
Yeah.
So I enjoy doing that.
So next, I'd like to, advice-wise, so if you could go back to day one Heather getting into real estate,
okay,
what advice would you give to yourself with everything that you know now? Like, what would be that piece where you'd say, you may want to do this or think about this?
Mm-hmm. So I would have to say patience.
Mm-hmm.
And just allow your hard work ethic and perseverance to show people your value. I think in the beginning, it's really easy to compare yourself to agents who have been doing it for, at that point, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we all want that,
mm-hmm.
No matter what your occupation is, you want that level of success. And so I think for me, it just would have been patience. I think time caused a lot of frustration for me, which, we can kind of get in our heads and really get frustrated. And so I think that knowing the things you can control and not control, and patience being one of those,
mm-hmm.
really was key.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because, one of the things, when I heard this, it made so much sense, and that's that success is sequential and it's not simultaneous. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we see, mm-hmm. Just see things and we think, oh, that probably happened really quick for that person. Yeah. And that's just not the case. Right. And it's just, sequential, happening at different points and times. Yeah. And then when you look back in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, sometimes people are day one and they're comparing themselves to somebody that's day, 1,500. And you're just like, that's not a fair comparison. Yeah. So no, that's wise. That I like that a lot. The patience. That's good. Yeah. That's good.
There's a lot of frustration in being patient for all of us
in
all regards of life. But in this career, I definitely think that was probably my one thing that I should have just said, it'll all come in time. Mm-hmm. And I had seasoned agents who mm-hmm. I would, reach mm-hmm. out to, and they would tell me that. But I thought, no, there's, got to be a way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. There are no shortcuts.
Time is not on your side.
Yeah. There are no shortcuts in real estate. Yeah. So what's one of your most memorable moments you've had in real estate thus far? Or one that sticks out to you as something either good, bad, or indifferent?
I knew this question was going to come, and I still struggled with it. I just think this is kind of general, I guess, not to give a specific moment. Just the reality of the impact that you can have on someone's transaction, right? Mm-hmm. And their experience, which is something we're big about here, is experience. Mm-hmm. So, gosh, that's a really, really good one. Probably a couple that I listed their home. Actually, that's a good one. January of last year, I'm out showing a house for another agent here. And, a lot of times you think, why would I do A, B, and C for someone else when I could be doing something for, me? Or you don't see the value in just kind of that if you're doing real estate will happen, no matter the capacity that you're doing that. And so showing this gentleman this home, as we're walking to the door, and it's January, it's cold, a car drives by, and the driver says, "Hey, are you looking to buy a house?" And we're like, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Well, we're going to be moving, and that's our house over there." And he points to it, and we're like, "Oh, okay, great." And in my head, I'm like, I want to, do the tackiest things, like run my card over there, be like, "Please call me," But I remained calm and drove down to the house and wrote a card, wrote a letter. I keep blank note cards in my car and just stuck it in the door, "Hey, call me. Would love to, see if your home would work for this guy or any way I can help you." And he actually ended up calling, and they were on their way in that moment to go have their daughter.
Oh, wow.
They were on their way to have, she was a scheduled cesarean. And so I came to know them so well, worked with them from January until we listed their house in May. And what I got after that, like even after the house closed, they've moved to California. They've sent me pictures of their little girl, and I guess that being my favorite moment, because you're more than a real estate agent to whoever you're working with. And so while that's not some big, huge, crazy story, it's just been very impactful to me to realize the level of trust and then friendship that you can get from a stranger, someone who you don't even know, and they let you in their home, and just a lot of trust goes into that. So it's pretty general to say, my most favorite moment, but really then it was pivotal for me to realize, wow, the level of impact that you have beyond the paperwork and, the stick in the sign in the yard.
No, I think that's I love that point, because just to know that you already realize that we are, like, this is kind of what our job entails.
Yeah.
And that's not really on the checklist of what people think a real estate agent does or what their role is. But yet understanding that the level of impact that you can have on that person is huge, because then it does make you perform at a certain level. And hopefully, I think one of the big words that we talk about here too is care. And it shows that you care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And when you realize that, like this is like this is the largest purchase this family's ever going to make. This is their home. This is, and it's a lot goes into that. So I love that. I love that you've made that connection and that.
Yeah.
So that's great, Heather. I love that. All right. The favorite portion of the podcast. So favorites. So what are some of your favorite spots around Central Kentucky, either restaurants or just activities? Just like, what do you like doing? Where do you like sending people to, like, recommendation wise? Like, what do you got?
So to preface this, being in Lexington from the time I was 4 and just seeing how far it's grown, and really, I mean, wouldn't you say, I don't know, help me out in the time frame here, the last 2 years, 5 years, the amount of like restaurants and stuff that have came to our area, it's pretty cool.
It does, it does feel like in the last, there's been an evolution, and like in the last 5 years, it just feels like, holy smokes, like this is wild,
Yeah.
From what we grew up with.
So all that to, I need to get out there. There's some stuff I hear all of you guys, all of the agents here talk about. But our go-to, we're big DV8 supporters.
Yeah.
We love going there. They're open till, I think they serve brunch until 3 on Sundays. So we love to go there, and you've got to get a cinnamon roll, from them when you go there. So DV8, we love the Gorge. So it's a little bit of a drive, but Miguel's down there, the experience, the pizza. When I first met my husband, I hadn't even really been, I think I had been to Natural Bridge maybe a couple times, but he was big into rock climbing. And so I got, introduced to that community with him, but to go down to Miguel's in the Gorge and get the pizza and just be outside. And then, we've been to Tony's a couple of times. Great experience there. If you want to go south to my hometown area, which this is my hometown, but I guess my birthplace, there's the Rootbeer Stand down there, which is only open I think May to September or October.
What
I'm
is
not
that?
Sure. So
tell me more.
If you drove by, you would be like, what is that place? But it's kind of like a parkette.
Okay.
But they have their own root beer. And it's phenomenal, and it's like no other root beer that you can get anywhere else.
Where is this?
It's in Corbin.
Corbin, and it's
Kentucky.
called the Rootbeer Stand?
It is called the Rootbeer Stand.
Oh, okay.
Home of the original KFC, too.
Oh, really? Oh, just Corbin. Yeah.
Yeah, so we love if, we're passing through there, which is not, super often, but their root beer just doesn't compare.
Really?
It really does. It really,
Okay.
Yep, it really doesn't. And they're known for their conies.
Okay.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So if you go down there and go to Cumberland Falls, make a pit stop on your way out at the Rootbeer Stand. It's worth it.
I like it.
But we're just big supporters, local feed, any of the non-chain restaurants. And our biggest thing, which parallel to kind of what we talk about in our, collabs and stuff here, is the experience. We're just all about the experience. The food is obviously where it's at too. But nothing's more frustrating than when you go out and it's a bad experience and then they just want to comp your food or give you something free. And it's like, no, can you give me back the time that
I know.
we just
I know.
wasted?
It is. I know.
And then
Agreed.
you can probably catch us at Ramsey's a couple nights a week just out of convenience. We live in the Hamburg area. And
The Ramsey's breakfast.
Ramsey's is up there.
Did you get the traditional breakfast?
No, I'm a veggie plate.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. We usually go for dinner.
Very
so
nice.
I'm a veggie plate girl.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
I like it.
I'm sure there's a couple I might be thinking of. That
What is some other? No one's mentioned DV8 on here before. So what's like? I know the cinnamon roll is supposed to be amazing, but like, is there one or two other items there that they're like known for or that you get?
So all of their pastries or any like bread related things are made there. So their biscuit, anything on a biscuit, their biscuits and gravy. I usually just get like the plate with, even their sourdough toast. Like I know that sounds crazy, but I think it's made there. They have specials like lunch specials. They have a really, really good, they have a rosemary avocado toast.
Oh,
so
my.
for all those avocado toast people. Yeah, I know the new trend
Yes.
is the avocado
Yes.
toast. So, yeah, but they're just, I love what they're doing in there and just quality. Just
That's
really
awesome.
Quality
Good.
food.
I'm gonna have to
it's
check that
really
out.
Good. You haven't been there?
No.
It's worth it.
Okay.
For sure.
So give us something that people don't know about you or that you would think would be surprising.
Oh man. So I'm a pretty here's one. So a lot of people when they see me, I always try to I'm 100%er. I like to give 100%. And so people think that that's very extroverted, right? When really I'm very much not an extrovert. I just like everybody to be happy. And if you're upset, I think there's something that I can do about it. And it's a blessing and a curse. But honestly, I'm something that somebody would know about me. I mean, no, if I could choose anywhere to be on a given day or evening, it would be at my house with my husband and my daughter and my 2 dogs. And as lame as that is, I mean, I told you I'm a pretty an interesting person. Being out in the world takes some recharging. So, I just, no.
Well, no, that's good. And I think that goes into kind of that home, why, home is so important is because sounds like if you could choose just about anything, you'd just be like, I would just like to relax at my house. And so, I think, and I'm, I'm the same way. And so it's just like, that's why you understand how important that is to people. It's because that is like, for a lot of people, that's their safe haven where they go to relax and unwind and spend time with their family. And that's just, I mean,
I could get into the whole, I used to own a motorcycle.
Oh.
I used to skydive, and then
hello.
Yeah. And then I became a mom, and all of those things could, leave my child motherless. So kind of calmed it down a little bit.
How many times did you skydive? Like what?
No, I just did it one time.
Was it terrifying?
It was. It was. Gatlinburg trip. Went with my hubby, and he loved it. And I thought I was going to love it until we were up there. And
thank you.
Yeah, we're like 1,500 feet above the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to 15,000, and things are already starting to look kind of small. And so if you can imagine putting your foot out onto a plane when you can see nothing but the clouds.
My gosh.
Yeah. And I just thought about, my daughter. I mean, it's just crazy when you become a parent, like what that does to you. And so they had to start. So my husband went first, and I just almost didn't go. Yeah. They had to circle around, and I was like, it was tandem.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just
let
this guy do his thing and not think about it. And I did.
I don't think that's.
But honestly, after the free fall, which is over so quickly, have you ever been parasailing?
Yeah, but
It's very much like parasailing after the free fall.
Yeah.
So
I've seen, now Gatlinburg, do y'all go there a lot or no?
I've only been there twice now,
okay,
which I know is crazy.
Well, I saw just coming back, where were we? Somewhere down, like maybe from Hilton Head, but they have a some type of sky bridge now.
Yeah,
like that, like looks terrifying.
Yeah,
and so I don't know, just the stuff with heights. I don't know.
I can't walk
freaks
over.
Me out.
Yeah, so like the grates, like the drainage grates and stuff.
Yes.
I cannot walk over those. I know I can't walk over. Even at the my daughter and I were just at the Newport Aquarium, and they've got some of the clear glass areas that you can walk over. It's just hard to trust that stuff.
It is.
So
it is.
Somebody has to be the statistic.
It is.
So
I love it. So as we wind this down and wrap it up, Heather, like this is the big question we always ask at the end, and you've answered it somewhat, but kind of what is your big why to like why you're, not just real estate, but why you feel it's important to to do what you're doing now, and just kind of what your big why is just behind it all.
So a lot of people say family, and that is a big part of my why, obviously, but I think there is a certain level of success and pride that come along with this profession. So going back to what I said earlier, outside of paying your bills and, working every day. There's just another level that you don't get with many other professions. I'm sure, some of the health related fields, and, I don't want to speak ignorantly because I'm sure that everyone has some degree of reward in their profession, but just to know that you had such a, small but yet big piece in someone purchasing and going through one of the biggest things in their lives, the American dream is outside of whatever that may be, up to marriage or post college or whatever it is you're doing, it's home ownership. And so to kind of be the front piece of that, and leading someone, and it's without the stress wouldn't be the reward, right? And so there's sometimes when you're in the thick of a transaction, and I say transaction, and that might sound bad, but when you're in the thick of guiding and having someone lean on you for something that is so big, at the end of it's so rewarding, and I just can't say how, because it's kind of it's just the hugs, the phone calls afterwards, the way that they trust you, and just gaining the trust, and being able to advise someone, it just really, it's unparalleled with, really anything I would think I would want to be doing. Yeah. It's just the reward that comes along with it, and the relationships, and it's just so cool because it's an occupation, but at the same time, it's kind of a lifestyle. A lot of people say, wow, it must be nice to have the flexibility to do A, B, and C. And, to me, the flexibility is when your phone rings, you need to be ready to go to wherever that person needs you to go. And so I think it's kind of not misconstrued, but the perception of to some people of being a real estate agent, they think that, you just open a door, right? And that is the easy part. But you've got to get people to trust you enough to allow you to be the one that opens the door. And so, what was the question?
Your big why.
Oh yeah, my big why. So it's the people, it's the relationships, it's the reward that you get just knowing that you've helped someone with one of the biggest things they go through. Yeah. Probably cliche, I don't really know of a mind-blowing why that maybe someone would be shocked by, but it's just the gratitude and the relationship building that you get by helping them do a home purchase or sell.
Well, and I think too that, again, I'll go back to just the realization that you have and that you understand about what your role is and how important it is, because I think that is a huge, disconnect that some people have.
Yeah.
And just the fact that that, you know how important it is, and that, the quality of work that you do is super important.
It is.
That's kind of, that's huge, and that's everything. And that's, why we created a place like this, is because we know that we think agents deserve to have a place like this, that is an environment like this, because we know it's important, and so it feeds right into that. So no, I love that answer, and I think that's great. And if Heather, if people where do you, what social media are you on the most, or how can people connect with you the best?
Yeah. So I'm not on Twitter a lot. Are you Twitter?
No.
Is that is that still a big thing?
It's a thing, I think, for different industries. Real estate, okay. I don't know if that's really.
So Instagram.
Yeah.
Heather Bargo. and Facebook, Heather Bargo. That's where I am. I try to, bring interesting things, sometimes some personal things, some real estate things. I don't really have an algorithm. It's kind of if I see something or think about something, I'll put it in my stories. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. And I'll say too, I mean, from your year 1 to year 2, your growth of your business has been fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And this year you're doing awesome. And so congratulations on getting to this level because a lot of people, they don't make it to this part.
I can see why.
You've busted through, that what it takes and it's awesome. So congratulations on getting to this part. And now you just build on that, right? So, well, guys, that's going to wrap this one up. I'm Todd Back.
Heather Bargo.
And this is Agents of the Brokerage Podcast. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, just anywhere podcasts can be found. Anywhere. We're there. You'll find us. So until next time, we'll see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.